So you want to be a travel nurse, but you have a reason, but I have kids, but I'm a single mom, but whatever your reason is. The thing is, they're really just excuses because there is no reason I can think of that you can't be a travel nurse if you're an RN or even an LPN. Or there's CT travelers, there's MRI travelers, um, and everybody thinks, we make this great money, which when you look at the money financially, yes, we do make better money in many cases because of what they're paying us versus what we get as staff. Mind you, we don't get as many benefits, and that plays a factor into it for some people. But I've been doing this, I've been a travel nurse since 1998. So I have quite a few years' experience in this field to say without a doubt that anybody can do this. And it is definitely the risks outweigh, or I'm sorry, the benefits outweigh the risks because, I mean, yeah, there's risks. There's times when there aren't enough travel jobs in your specialty. And you just want to, you want to go to a special place, a certain specific area, and they don't have your specialty. So there's risks. And, but by far, doing this for so many years, with about 3 times when I went back to staff, and all 3 times, except for once, one time was I spent 3 years at one place, but that's only because I was pregnant and having babies and I had gotten married. So that was the only reason I had stopped traveling for a few years. Otherwise, the other 2 times were less than a year. Um, and everybody has their reasons for traveling besides financial. My initial reason way back when I was single, was I just wanted to see the country. I just wanted to travel. And I'm like, oh, you're going to pay me and pay for my housing. And it was great. Loved it. And then having kids, my husband's a nurse as well. So then we did it. Um, Actually, a lot of the times we did it for financial reasons. Um, we now own 70 acres in Kentucky. We have a nice farm, and we still travel because it's financially worth it to us and makes our lives way easier. Um, in terms of just the flexibility that we have a lot of say in our contracts as to what hours we work, time off that we need. I don't think I've worked more than like 4 Christmases in all these years. I've worked maybe about 4 or 5 Fourth of Julys, and that was by choice, not because I had to, but because, well, we weren't really doing anything. So no, there's way more benefits, and like I said, it's been really good for our family. And but what I keep hearing from a lot of staff nurses is, well, I can't. I have kids. Well, I have kids. I have 3 kids. Yes, they're homeschooled, and but they're all on their own right now. The youngest is 18, soon to be 19. 2 of them are going to college, and the one is going into the police department. So, and he's also going to get his associate's degree. So, I have 3 kids who were able to go on after being homeschooled, leave very good lives. They're, like I said, they're out on their own and able to support themselves. So, any reason you have, I pretty much have an answer for. My husband and I did work opposite shifts for many years. I worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. He worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Wednesday was our family days. And yeah, maybe sometimes it sucked, but there are times when my husband just worked and I took off for a few months. Sometimes it was because of illness, and sometimes it was convenience. We're going to go visit family. We're going to go stay with family for a few months. Mom's not going to work. Dad's just going to work his 3 or 4 days a week. And so we ended up with a lot of family time. So there's a lot of reasons people have for not doing it. And what I've learned is people just don't like change. People don't like to go out of their comfort zone. And so a lot of, newer nurses or even older nurses are very just set in their ways. They just want to stay where they're at. They say they want to travel. They say they want to leave. They're tired of the bullshit. They're tired of management, whatever. But the thing is, they're not willing to take the risk. They're not willing to jump out of their comfort zone. And what I always tell people is it's worth the risk. We've had an amazing life with being able to travel, see the country, take our kids. Like a lot of their field trips when we lived in DC, all the museums were free. And so they learned all about history. They learned, my gosh, I mean, the stuff that they learned just by traveling was immeasurable. I mean, so there's so many things that you can do. You can take that leap. You can do this. And you just have to figure out exactly what it is that you want, exactly where you want to go, how you want this to look, how you want your family to function. Sometimes there are times when I traveled while my husband stayed home and he worked a local contract job. So there's local contracts. You don't have to go far. You can do a local contract. Yes, it'll be all tax, but you're still making more than staff. Now people say, well, now everybody's going back to staff. It's 2024. People like, inflation is high and the travel nurse contracts are so low. And yes, they are low. They are pre-COVID, like way pre-COVID rates right now. And it sucks. It really does. We're like, oh gosh, should I downsize my vehicle? We're going to have to tighten the budget. We got to pay for college. How are we going to do this? So yeah, there's times when we have many, many good years financially. And then this year it's like, what are we going to do? And to make this work, the thing is, going back to staff doesn't cross my mind. I do apply every once in a while for a job that looks maybe interesting, but I don't put any real effort into going after those jobs because in the back of my head, I already know I'm not suited for staff. I'm not suited for management. I'm not suited to be somebody's minion. And that's pretty much what staff nurses end up becoming. You are sitting there having to do whatever management tells you to do, or you risk losing your job. You risk, this. People have to put in their time for vacations well in advance, and they might not even get it. And I'm like, no, I'm taking my vacation when I want my vacation. I don't care what anybody says. It's either in my contract or you just don't hire me out with that contract. There's many other contracts I can go to. So the flexibility I have, the say in what I can do makes me feel so free. And yeah, when I take a week off, I don't get paid, but I get paid well enough on my weeks that I don't work. I get paid on well enough on the weeks I do work to make up for the times I want off. So it really makes up for it. Now, there's also the people who say, well, it's really not worth it financially because housing is, over $2,000 a month. Yeah, that's because you're a prima donna. And I'm, offense, meant because these younger, I'm sorry, most of them are younger nurses, want their own space. They want their own, their own bathroom. They want to live in their own apartment. And that's just not how it is if you want to save money. If you want to make this work for you financially, you can do what I do. Either you can get an RV, which we have, and we pay where my husband is working right now in West Virginia, $450 a month with plus electric. So maybe $550 a month. That's not bad. Okay, we have our own space, we have our own bathroom, and there's a little upkeep, but it is what it is. Or you can be like me. I'm out in California now while he's in West Virginia, and I rent a room, and it's $1,000 a month, but I have my own bathroom. Now I can go cheaper. And there's places around here, even in Manteca, I'm in Northern California, where I can rent a room for $750, $800 and share a bathroom. And I've done it. I did that 2 years ago during COVID, and I shared a bathroom, believe it or not, with 2 other males. with two males, and I had zero problems. They kept a clean house. They had a house, I think a housekeeper who came in once a week. The bathroom was never messy, and I never felt unsafe. And for those who are worried about their safety, are there some valid concerns? Well, sure. And, you can go to Walmart and be assaulted in a Walmart parking lot. You can go anywhere and your safety could be at risk. So, safety is something you need to practice every day, 24/7, regardless of where you're at. Now, I choose to stay in specific areas. I will look for the safer, nicer, um, if you will, residential areas when I stay at somebody's house, because that's just what I feel safest in. But I'm also, when I get out of my car, I'm still looking around. I'm on a dead end street, still looking around, making sure there's nobody around. It's that safety awareness. And regardless if there's a male there, I've never, ever, in all these years, had a problem staying in somebody's house, having roommates, people I don't know. Back in the day, way back in 1998, 99, 2000, guess what? We were put up. I don't know if they even gave us stipends. I don't even know if that was an option. There was no furnished finders. There was no, there might have been Airbnb, but I don't think it started back then. I do know that our companies would put us up in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and you had a roommate who you didn't know. So that's how I started. And you'd show up, and sometimes it worked, and sometimes it did not work. I live with a girl. She's super nice. It was in Denver during the winter, and she was from Australia, and she would literally crank the heat up to 80 degrees. I'm from Buffalo area. I'm from like the Northeast, Western New York, where we get a lot of snow, and, 68, 70s, just fine with me. And she couldn't do it. So I had to crack my window in my room to cool down. And so, you agree to disagree, you work it out. But I'm not a high maintenance person. Obviously, I don't have, makeup on. I'm not, wearing fancy clothes or fancy anything, because that's just how I am. I spend my money on my kids, my husband, my farm, things like that, practical things. So you can travel if you're willing to come out of your comfort zone, if you're willing to do what is necessary to make a better living for yourself and your family, um, and to be more comfortable. And I know some women who actually will sleep in their car. They have either mace, a gun, or something like that to help protect them. I've only done that when I'm traveling, like, say, out to California from Kentucky, and I'm tired and I'm only going to take a 3-hour nap. I'm not going to get a hotel, so I will sleep in my car and I don't feel unsafe. Um, there's some people who actually pitch a tent and they use campground bathrooms for their showers. Hey, you know what? Whatever works. But there are ways to save money on your housing. You do not have to use the whole stipend that you get, the tax-free money, all for just your housing and food. Whatever you have left over is yours to keep. So I go cheap as possible. Like I said, except for this contract, I'm here for 5 months. It's a longer contract. I initially started with a shared bathroom, and then they had a room open up with just a bathroom and a kitchenette. So it actually was like, you know what? I'll pay the extra couple hundred a month because it was just comfortable for me knowing I was going to be here long term, or longer term than just 2 or 3 months. So anyway, all the excuses, all the reasons you can't. I knew women who were like, you know what? I can't leave the States. Custody issues with my ex, and I have kids. Then you do local travel, or you go 2 hours away, and they people stay overnight in a hotel, or during the day if they work nights, and they have, like, say, their mother watch their kids, and then they come home on their days off, and that works just as well. You're still making more money, and it's still worth it when you think about the financial rewards and the freedom you get to choose some of your own schedule, your time off, and the things that you want to do as just life in general. So don't let the excuses stop you. Don't let your fears stop you. If you really want to do this, you can. You just have to come up with a plan and do it intelligently. You got to set some money aside before you start to travel, just in case. Like my first week out here in California, it's the first time this has happened to me in, gosh, many years, where they called me the day before and said, "Oh, by the way, you can't start tomorrow. There's some glitch in the system." Okay. Well, I'm already here in California, so and I didn't get paid for that week, and those are the risks. So, but because my husband and I both do this, we're financially able to withstand a week without pay every so often. It was no big deal. It was like, I was a little miffed. I was like, what am I going to do for a whole week by myself? I'm here to work. So, but it was, I got my rest and enjoyed my time off. And now, you know, I've been out here 5 months. I'm ready to go back to Kentucky. I'm going to work where my husband's working. That's my next contract. And we're going to share the RV. So our costs are going to be like way down, even though I'm getting paid less. My contract out here, they were going to renew me, but they were like, well, we're not going to guarantee 48 hours. We're only going to guarantee 36. And I said, no, thank you, because the 36 hours is not financially worth it, because I'd end up spending the same amount of money. The outgoing, how do I say this? My net money basically is going to be the same as if I were to go home and work the same area as my husband, and we share our living costs that way. So sometimes we share the costs that way. Sometimes I go, if the guaranteed hours are 48 hours, I'm out here to work. My husband's got a lot of projects for the farm, which is great, because our goal is obviously to get out of nursing. We've been in it way too long, and we've seen the changes. We don't really care for a lot of the changes, and we want to help people in different ways. So that's our goal. That's what we're doing. And even at my age, I'm over 50, I can still rock it with traveling, drive cross country, do what needs to be done, and still, take care of my kids, still get my kids a really nice life. We still take vacations. My daughter's flying out here at the end of the month when I leave, and we're going to drive cross country with some stops in between that are sometimes 8 hours out of our way, just so we can go and have a little bit of fun. And then when I get home, I'm taking my other daughter on a weekend excursion, so we can have some mother-daughter time. And I'll probably do the same thing with my son at some point. So, there's being a travel nurse has been the best thing I ever did, the best decision I ever made. When I was 1 year out of nursing school, met a traveler, and I was like, they can pay me to travel and be a nurse? Like, yeah, I'm doing it. And I did. And best decision ever. And I never looked back. And like I said, I did go staff a few times. Two of them were kind of mistakes. The other one wasn't, because that's where I met my husband and got some ER experience. And I absolutely love the freedom. And I know most people, once they get past their fears of coming out of their comfort zone, they can see the benefit and feel the way I have for many years, which is, while there are risks to this, the benefits outweigh the risks by so much, it's not even funny. And so I'm so glad I did this. And thank you for listening, coming to my TED Talk. And I will be talking way more about travel nursing. There's a lot I need to share. Many people want me to write a book. Oh, yeah, I'll read your book. And it's like, I don't really want to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, believe it or not, but not about that. This I'll just share on videos. I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of things to share on what you can do. I can talk about homeschooling and what that looked like, even while I worked full time. And, while it wasn't easy, I still did it. And it brought me so much more joy at the end of it all with the way my kids turned out and how confident they are in who they are. And they have friends, they make friends easily. So, people's fears about, well, they're going to be isolated, whatever. No, those fears are unfounded. And me and my family are proof of that really all those fears I can turn around and say, no, there's ways to do this. There's ways to have a better life. There's ways to make better money. It just depends on what your goals are. It depends on what your dreams are. And you just need to take that leap of faith. But if you have questions, if you want me to talk about anything specifically, hit me up. You can just message me here on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and I will, make videos about whatever it is people want to hear about because, like I said, I have a wealth of information. I have done this for many, many years, and I have enjoyed it for the most part. But now, for me, it's time for me to check out soon, and that's okay. Um, it's my time. I have a lot of knowledge I would love to share with the younger generation, and I've been able to take part in that recently with doing a lot of orienting of new grads where I'm at, and I've been loving it. So maybe I'll take a teacher role. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know that getting away from bedside and the stress and the fatigue and everything else that it causes is what I need to do. So, you know, like I said, everybody has to do what they need to do to make their lives better and happier. So, like I said, just ask whatever questions you need. Have a good day.